Yeah, so my name is Tilen. I'm a composer, saxophonist, and improviser. So I live between The Hague and Ljubljana. Usually I have to travel for the work. And in this case, it really depends. I mean, I collaborate a lot with different ensembles and different institutions, as well as different chamber groups, individuals, and in general, I like it. I mean, I like to form music, I like to write the music, and in general, I appreciate it as well.
Thank you. Second question, what is the subject matter of your respective pieces? It's either you choose one, or you can talk about perhaps the pieces of that will be performed at the festival.
Yeah, so well, I will choose actually Lehman. So the flute solo piece with electronics and tape, and there's also harp piece with live electronics, tape. So the thing is that Lehman is mostly referring to this kind of, passageway, or if we kind of connect it with liminal spaces in general, they're kind of abandoned spaces that were supposed to be, populated or whatsoever. So in this sense, it could be like a residential building, or it could be underground passageway, or it could be like abandoned shopping mall or whatsoever. So in this case, I'm just kind of trying to explore the liminality of the specific acoustics of each instrument. So let's say, in this particular case, we will be exploring this kind of electroacoustic world of the sound. But in previous pieces, I did also that include the whole anthropological concept of Arnold van Gennep, also through the acoustic sound of the instruments. Then it could be also more conceptually. Let's say it. Well, maybe I'm mixing up now the things, but in general, today there will be also performance of orchestra piece, which is including the electric kettle. So in this sense, it's again Limen, but it's kind of exploring the space and the process of the electric kettle as a symbolic representation of ascension, so of the soul or whatsoever. But in this case, it's more or less an ongoing process that experiments and tries to figure out the differences between this kind of threshold and the possibilities within the concept itself.
Thank you. So Tilen, what is your notion of substance as a composer?
Yeah, the question is, what is substance? Let's say it for Plato, it was something that was more or less related to aesthetics in its sense, But I think is, that the substance, I mean, it's a hard one, because also when I start to think that it could be, form of aesthetics, but the thing is that aesthetics have a certain consequence on your pathway or on your development. So you're kind of forming different collectives within, or you're forming specific audience with the aesthetics thyself. But in this sense, I think that substance is always something that can't be expressed literally. I mean, it is something that we all know that it's there, but we can also discuss, what is arts, and at a certain point, we can have this kind of critical theory about the arts and etc. But the thing is that it's hard, to find a concrete answer. But for me personally, it's always something that comes and justifies the reasoning. Why are you doing something in concretely? So that's the substance of their work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is your notion of impact as a composer?
Yeah, it's impact. We could connect it back so to aesthetics as well as to the substance. It always, I mean, in general, as performers, composers, or artists in general, we are forming our own audience. So in this case, the impact of our arts it is connected to this specificity, you know. So I think that impact, it's at the end how certain subjects it's accepted, or in the way also that when you start to see the familiar faces within the audience, then you know that the impact is there. But nevertheless, we can forget about the audience, we can forget about everything. And the impact, it's always also, it could be related to very particularity of each individual.
Thank you. What is your notion of responsibility as a composer?
Yeah, I mean, responsibility, that's also a tricky one, you know. I never liked composers in general if they were doing something, you know, not the whole way in, or not that wasn't showing the full engagement into the process. So it means that, you know, if you're actually doing something, and if you're doing it, just don't do it for the sake of doing it, you know, but have a very particular, you know, engagement with it as well, you know, do it really completely full in. So without any, you know, like halfways or whatsoever, or any shortcuts, it has to be, you know, transformed. It has to be somehow personalized. But on the other hand, I also think that it really matters, you know, and you can really hear when people are actually joking within the arts. But, you know, I mean, I'm not against humor or sarcasm or irony, you know, of course it comes along, you know, but it has to be done very responsibly. So what I'm seeing, that to be responsible, that you're treating the process of making arts extremely respectively, you know, because you're sharing something with the outer world, and in this case, you can't share whatever, you know. You have to share the best you can do. So in this case, the result has to be the best you can do in the time you're given.
Thank you.